Hey, what's up? Hello, my name is Emma and I'm here with the one and only Cassandra Clare. We're here at BookCon in New York City and I'm extremely excited to have you back on my channel.
I'm excited to be back.
I did interview Cassie back in November, so if you want to check out the first part of this interview, I guess, you can check the link below.
We just considered a long interview.
Yeah,
that
just
will
like one
over
really
many years.
continuous.
Exactly.
So the first question I have is obviously Lord of Shadows was just released about a week ago. So in all the excitement, what has the reaction been like for the fans?
Ooh, I mean, I think this was kind of a game changer of a book.
Yes.
Which was the intention. But that's always one of those things you have to kind of brace for because you know the reaction is going to be really big. And I don't want to. I'm trying to like not spoil anything specific. So I guess I'll just say like it was. I think it was a pivot for the. It was intended to be like a pivot for the world. It takes us to a very darker place.
Yes.
And for me, that's like an instrumental piece of taking this whole series as one big block of many books that are all like a wall,
Yes.
and each series is like a brick in that wall, and turning us towards a sort of darker story because I know we're heading into the Wicked Powers and the end of the whole series altogether, and so I know that we're going to go really dark before we can go back, before our heroes / Team Good can like return to. Can if they do triumph over evil and return to the light, they're going to have to go through some serious darkness.
Yes, of course. So speaking of this being a game changer of a book, you have a really dramatic and heartbreaking death in the end, which I think is a very fresh kind of risk for you. So what was it like writing this game changer?
I mean, it was scary, you know, in the sense that like I wasn't sure how people would respond, but also it's a emotional dark place I've almost not gone. You know, Jace dies, but I knew he was coming back.
Yeah,
you know, and like it wasn't a place where I was like, I've got to take these characters, their worst fears that I've created them to have these as the things that they're most terrified of, make it happen.
Yes.
And so for me, that very ending, the actual writing of the death scene and the reaction to it was really difficult in terms of getting the emotionality of it right.
Yeah. Was it like very emotional for you to write, or had you had this planned for a while?
I had it planned for a while, but it was still hard to write. You get to know characters, as you write them, and you get to love them, and you live in their head, you care about them, and you're like, now I got to put them through the ringer. I'm like, this is the worst thing really the characters, the POV and their main character that I was mostly focusing on. I'm like, this is the worst thing that can happen to them.
Yes.
And I'm like, so putting your character through the worst thing they can imagine is really hard. And you also feel like, just as a writer, you're writing like one of the fucking Broncos that's trying to throw you off because the emotions are so strong and they're coming so hard. You don't want to go overdo it. You don't want it to be like, and so-and-so screamed, no, and it was the worst thing that had ever happened, and and then they sobbed and they screamed and they pounded the wall, and you're like, I have to keep all of this controlled because that's how people actually react, because shock sets in so quickly.
Yes.
And I'm like, I know when I have had a terrible grief or shock, I know how it goes. I know how that numbing, emotional, deadening feeling comes to you, and so you have to write that.
Yeah.
That's tough.
Of course, and you're going to make us wait 2 years to see the extent of it.
Yeah, hopefully it won't be a numbing, emotional, deadening wait.
Yes. Oh, lovely. So I think some of, at least my personal favorite parts of your books is how they all intersect and how we have so many references and cameos. So are there any particular scenes that you have written in any of your books so far of the Shadowhunter Chronicles that either include some content or at least allude to past and, even in Lord of Shadows, some future content?
You mean are there sort of secret scenes that kind of allude
to... do you have any favorite cameos or references that you've written in the past that you really enjoyed putting in the fans are going to go crazy over this little tidbit?
The appearance of a mysterious green warlock in Lord of Shadows.
Yeah, we're going crazy.
I know that he could kind of either be one of two people, and I was like, that was really fun because was excited to bring that character in, and also I was excited for the speculation about that, and it seeds something significant.
Yes.
And then there's lots of little stuff too. Yeah. I mean, that I enjoy. I love bringing back Jessamine as a ghost. I don't think that's a big spoiler.
That was
she
such a great.
Cameo.
That was such a great.
You know, she was so fun to like see her again and write her again. And actually, I also love that Bridget appears and is like 100 million years old because everyone's like, why is she so old?
Yeah, I'm
like,
waiting.
I know. I was like, whatever. There are werewolves in this world. She could be. I mean, there is a reason, and it's a really funny reason. Like it's a light. It's nice to balance that darkness with lightness. And so for me, the fact that Bridget is still around and is like 115 or whatever, and also is like, I like the Lightwoods. They're very sexy. I find her hilarious, and I think there's a pretty light, like funny reason that she's still.
I know one of my new personal favorites is this fairy boy that you have under lock and key for us that I know you're not going to spoil anything about, but definitely excited.
He has a name. Ash, right?
Ash.
Yeah.
Yes.
I actually think his name, there's a lot of big differences between the ARC and the published book because we were running on
I
such
didn't
a crash
have a
schedule.
name, so this is exciting
So I
for
think
me.
actually the fact that he has a name is maybe only in the published book.
Yeah, I think it's only in the published one. I'm going to listen to the audiobook soon, so I'll get the full run. But yes, very excited for that one.
Yeah, no, Ash is a fun one.
Speaking of previous books, one thing I find so interesting is how you do implement them into current books. So do you find any difficulty in taking these characters who we've known as teens and moving past all of the time jumps and the experiences and years that we haven't got to fully see and writing them as adults? So for example, do you find any difficulty in preserving 17-year-old Jace with 20-something-year-old Jace, but also having him grow up a little bit?
I would say, that initially it was a little difficult, and I had to kind of think, what are the differences? Because they're going to be subtle, but they're definitely going to be there. Jace is a lot less reactive now that he's older. Like, he definitely used to be one of those people who his reaction time was that.
Yes.
You know, like, he got mad immediately. If he was upset immediately. You know, now he has actually learned to control his emotions for at least a short period of time.
Yes.
Clary has become, I think, more confident in herself, which is something I really like. You know, it's fun because I always felt like I'm writing these characters at a pivotal point in their lives when I was writing TMI. I know that they are becoming the people that they will be.
Yes.
And so now I'm like, they are the people that they were going to be. You know, they're not totally, completely cooked. None of us are, maybe ever. But, like, they're definitely way more along that path. And so for me, once I hit what that is, it's really fun. One of the things that was really interesting was actually when I went to write The Infernal Devices, Magnus, because I was like, this Magnus is not our Magnus. This is a Magnus who's 150 years younger. He's getting a really different.
Yes.
And he wasn't. It was a really interesting, like, mental adjustment to write him as a little more insecure, younger, like, not the guy, like, a little more vulnerable, not the guy that we knew.
That's very interesting. So you've had a very unique experience with adaptations. We have the City of Bones movie, we have the Shadowhunters television show on Freeform now, but the one thing we haven't touched yet is a musical. So still holding out for it in my head.
You know, I will only tell you that a very famous writer whose book is being developed into a musical reached out to me not long ago to say that they were interested in doing a Shadowhunters musical, which they could do, actually, because I retain musical rights. So I was like, oh my God, Shadowhunters dancing around with Stella's. I am so happy. So, like, who knows, right?
Yes.
But I will definitely say it hasn't been broached as a possibility.
You gave me so much more hope. But so, out of all of the books, if one of them or all of them were adapted into a musical, do you have any scenes that you think would make like a really epic musical number? Or that you could see being like break into song at this point?
Wouldn't that be amazing? Oh my God. Now I have to think. I'm just like, I actually think that, like, for me, Infernal Devices would maybe make the most fun musical because you could have like these love songs. You could have this great, like, moving set that was different pieces of London.
Yes.
So, like, imagine like the scene with like the first time that like Tessa and Jem talk on the bridge.
Yes.
You know, when you got like some water effects. You know, that'd be awesome.
You have quite a vision for it already. Am I not the only one that's been dreaming of this?
Well, once it got brought up to me, I was like, now this is all I'm thinking about.
That is fantastic. So I think one of the best parts of being a part of the online book community is all of the theorizing that comes around with your books, because we just love to delve in and get very analytical and observe everything. So have you come come across any fan theories that you have seen online that really stood out to you? Any that came true? Any that were utterly ridiculous?
There's definitely been ones that have come true. There's definitely been, because the thing is, like, you know, there's a delicate balance in writing of seeding enough clues so that when something happens, it seems inevitable. Oh, of course, that's the thing that happened. You seed enough of those clues, some people are going to figure it out.
Yes.
You know, so there definitely have been, you know, like, I you know, people seem to kind of know that there was going to be a death in Lord of Shadows.
Yeah.
And a lot of people did guess who. And I thought that was really interesting, my, like, sort of process of elimination. And I was like, and also just the arc of that character. And I was like, I can see, like basically they, like, there was a really great piece of meta. Now I can't remember who wrote it, but it was basically like, this is the death that is, like, in many ways the most ultimately destabilizing death. And that's what you want. You want to destabilize the narrative so that you are moving into a story full of conflict, because, you know, ratcheting up the tension and conflict is what will ruin, right?
Yes.
So I was like, oh, that's really smart. I thought that was fun. Christine comes up with amazing theories.
Yes,
but
she does.
Sometimes when they're, like, people love them so much that, like, for years people have been bugging me that Isabel is not really related to her parents. And I'm like, she is related to her parents.
I was there for that. It was so great.
Every time they do it, I'm like, Christine! It's so funny. But, like, I remember reading it and I was like, this is really smart. Like, this is really awesome. And, like, you know, there are alternate readings of text, and I was like, there's nothing in, like, what Christine is saying that couldn't possibly be.
Yes.
It just happened not to be. But I was like, damn, that was really good. And now, for the rest of my life, people are going to ask me this question. And, of course, I really am loving the theories about who Ash is right now.
Yeah.
That's fun.
I'm excited. We think we're right.
You're
so we think we're right.
At least
so we'll see. So because you have gone through so much change with these characters and these stories, and we have 2 completed series, you know, although their stories are continuing, the series is finished. So were there any characters from TMI and TID that you considered killing off, but they actually survived in the conclusion?
Yes, there definitely were. Simon.
Yes, I remember the
die.
Simon from the Tales from the Shadowhunter Academy event when you shocked us all.
I know, everyone was like, and my friends totally talked me out of that one. And Henry actually was going to die, and my friends talked me out of that one too.
You have good friends.
Yeah, Holly is somewhere being like, that's right, I did you a solid. And I look back on it and I think, yeah, I'm glad I didn't kill Henry. Like, initially, you know, you want to just, when you're killing characters, a lot of it often has to do with consequences. You're like, I want to show that there's danger here. I don't want, you know, everybody to be too safe. But she was like, Henry is this kind of character, this, like, that we don't see all that much. You know, he's this kind person, a good person, a mild-mannered person, and, you know, a thoughtful and person who is kind of an intellectual and lives in his head. You don't want to kill that guy.
Of course.
And I was like,
That's great.
I was like, I can't do it. I don't even want to tell you about the Simon intervention. It was bad.
Oh,
my friends were like,
this
is
only
not happening.
So just one final question. You know, we have just recently, online at least, your, like, upcoming schedule has been released for your publication. You have so much coming out. I don't know how you do it all. But we have, you know, we have Chain of Thorns next year. We have the first book in the Eldest Curses coming out this year, next year. We have the Magisterium series, you know, then, you know, Last Hours, end of the Dark Artifices, the Book of Powers. You got a lot going on. You're very booked up. So is there any book that you could give us, like, a semi-spoiler for that, like, we haven't thought about yet? Because you have so much coming out, and I have no idea how we're going to wait for it all.
I guess I could say, in terms of the Eldest Curses, which is the Magnus and Alex series, it starts in Paris. Which is really fun. And also we do take a visit to the Spiral Labyrinth, which is a place I've been wanting to write about for a long time.
I'm very excited.
The Warlock Spiral Labyrinth. That's really fun.
So exciting.
And in terms of Last Hours, I mean, for me, what's really interesting about Last Hours, and I'm working on right now, is this generation of Shadowhunters that are the children of the characters we knew in Infernal Vices have grown up in a very peaceful time, unlike pretty much everybody else. You know, Julian and Emma, scarred forever by the Dark War, you know, Jace and Clary, dead parents, trauma, you know, the uprising sort of brutalized that whole generation. These kids have grown up without that stuff. And they have grown up in a time of relative peace, very low demon activity, And they mostly hang out and have fun. And at the beginning of the book, it's kind of fun because, like,
that's so
there's these
exciting.
4 boys that are friends, you know, Matthew and Thomas and James and Christopher. And, like, they have a grown-up kind of lucky and charmed and happy. And to write about those kind of characters and then kind of plunge them into a, you know, adventure / danger that in no way are they prepared for is not a thing I've done before. And I'm finding it really fun.
That's so great. I love how you're able to, like, find something distinctive about each of these stories set in the same world that is, like, so different. Like, one of the things I was thinking about for the last hours is this is the first group of, like, a full Shadowhunter parent family, which is not a dynamic that we're used to. So.
Yeah, because initially, often these things come out of, I think, issues that you have.
Yes.
Because I looked at it and thought, oh my God, you know, there's no way to really traumatize these children, these characters. We know they're parents, we know they're good people, you know?
Yes.
And I'm almost not going to kill them because that's ridiculous. Like, you can't just be like, and then I killed Gideon and Sophie and Gabriel and Cecily and Will much earlier than he dies anyway because I needed to traumatize these characters. You can't do that.
Yes.
Know their fates. And also, I think it's cheating. So I'm like, okay, I have to, like, face this issue I have, which is that these characters have grown up in relative peace and happiness. And I have to make it a feature about it.
Yes.
So it's kind of one of those fun things.
Yeah. Well, thank you so much, Cassie, for being featured on my channel again. Lord of Shadows is out now, so be sure you go pick it up and read it and get your heart destroyed. But thank you so much for being on my channel. But that is it, and thank you guys so much for watching. Bye!